Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And for our next session, we're going to talk about caring for trees. So, first and foremost, we're going to have pruning. It is done to remove undesirable and crowded branches which are no use to the tree. And this includes removal of water sprouts, old, decaying, and unproductive dried and overcrowded branches. So, infected and infested parts also to discourage the presence and multiplication of insect pests and diseases. This will allow maximum light penetration and air circulation in the canopy and minimizes buildup of diseases, inoculum, and insect population, particularly yung mango leaf hoppers. So, since excessive pruning on bearing trees should be avoided as a general rule, only branches which are 2 inches in diameter or less are removed and usually grow as side shoots from tertiary branches in the canopy. Other branches which deviate from the main limbs are also removed, and a well-pruned tree has equal distribution of branches and allows light penetration within the canopy. So as practical guide, well-pruned tree allows one to see adjacent trees within the vicinity. Second, preferably pruning should be done during summer months after harvest. So if done during the rainy season kasi, the cut portion should be protected from fungal infection by application ng fungicide, paint, or coal tar. So drastic or radical pruning or top working to change the variety or rehabilitate old trees is also one way of removal of the total or more than 30% of the canopy. So this is practiced for trees which are severely infested now with insects, particularly scales and mealybugs, and done to rejuvenate old trees or replace varieties which are unproductive in the field. Pruning saw, shear, pruning pole, or appropriate tools needed. However, these are not available. Ordinary carpenter saw and bolo can be used. So for tree fertilization, early researchers believe that nutrient level of soils from different mango producing provinces are adequate to support growth and development of trees because mango has an extensive root system capable of extracting nutrients deep into the soil. However, with the discovery ng potassium nitrate, ito yung induction of trees inducer, so became common, and its yearly application has resulted also ill effects as observed in the fields. Since continuous use ng potassium nitrate, specifically at high concentration, resulted to cause leaf defoliation, decline production, and low response of trees to flowering. So in extreme cases, trees become sickly and non-productive. A closer look of the problems will reveal that affected trees are usually malnourished and deficiency symptoms of the major elements like the NPK, and the role of nutrition and flower induction is very important. So, since it is now possible to induce flowering in mango yearly. So this also posed stress to the trees, no? In fact, after many times of induction using potassium nitrate, pwede siyang mamatay, the whole tree. So, soil analysis, tissue analysis, recommendation, and symptomatology exhibited by trees which lack that certain elements. These are ways to determine deficiency of important elements in mango. The common procedure employed is yung soil analysis talaga, wherein soil samples are taken from the field and submitted to the soil lab, for analysis. So the laboratory result will identify the limiting elements and its amount and corresponding recommendations na. So it's very important to have your soil analysis prior to the application of fertilizers so that there will be no excessive or inadequate application of fertilizers. So, however, pag there's no time for that or there's no way for that, so these are the general recommendation for every age and the rate of application and the time of application. So, within 5 to 6 years, you have here the 500 gram to 1 kilogram triple 14. Or 3 to 4 kilogram manure plus 500 gram to 1 kilogram triple 14. And these are applied at the start of rainy season or split application within the first half given at the start of rainy days and the remaining before the end of the rainy season. So these are again the different ages from 7 to 8 and the equivalent rates. And take note that it should be applied after or start of the rainy season. So these are the common nutritional deficiency symptoms in mango. We have nitrogen. If it has yellow presence, undersized leaves, discoloration at the base and progressing towards the tip, and growth retardation is not other than nitrogen. So we also have phosphorus. It's also usually older leaves with the presence of brown neurotic spots located in between veins. And in advanced stages, the leaves become brown, dry up, and drop. And so, some cases turn reddish purple along the margins, and mature abscission and stem dieback occurs. So that's phosphorus. For potassium naman, it has distinct symptom of which occur in older leaves, indicated by brown necrosis on the leaf margin, and which often extend to the tip. Leaf blade also appears dye yellowish green and light green, and the symptoms are very prominent during dry season. We also have calcium, which is similar to nitrogen deficiency, except that yellowing of the leaves start at the apical portion and not at the base. We also have magnesium, which cause considerable retardation of growth and premature defoliation of leaves. And in severe cases, sclerosis extends up to the midrib and little or no green color remains. For copper naman, it has a presence of oversized leaves. Usually gum exudations are present on the dark bark of the twigs and branches. And in zinc, the deficiency symptom is characterized by little leaf symptom. As the leaf mature, the margin bend with downward or upward, causing the apical portion to curve in the same direction. So the veins appear more prominent on the upper surface and appear yellow. So for proper fertilization application, this should be observed particularly sa mga big mature trees like higher than 30 years old, since you know that mango is a centennial tree and it can live up to more than 100 years, which are fertilized by digging narrow canals or holes 15 to 30 centimeter deep around the trunk, following the spread of the canopy. And this is the fertilizer is then placed in the holes or canal covered with soil to minimize volatilization or runoff of the chemicals during rainy days. And for younger trees, about 5 to 30 years old, also holes or canals are constructed at 1 to 2 radius from the trunk. So you can also apply foliar fertilizer at flowering as supplement for optimum growth. So the first and second application of foliar starts at 14 to 18 and 22 to 25 days after induction, which is needed to increase naman the panicle length in preparation for a good fruit setting. And the second application at 35 to 40 days after induction, which encourages fruit setting and retention, while fourth application at 50 to 55 days as increases fruit size. So you choose foliar fertilizer with major elements NPK as well as micro elements such as calcium, magnesium, boron, and zinc. So to induce flowering, the age of the leaves should be between 7 to 8 months, no, from flashing. And the leaf maturity is observed to be influenced by water stress, temperature, and day length. Dark green to coppery green, brittle and crispy, and crack or break when squeezed are the practical guys that mango leaves considered to be matured. And now you can start the spraying of the potassium nitrate. So by thorough wetting the leaves, we have KNO3 or other salts of nitrate at 1 to 3% or formulated products can be recommended. So high concentration during cold rainy months, low concentration during dry months would vary from also 2 to 3% and 1 to 5% for early and late flower induction. And 1% means 1 kilogram potassium nitrate in every 100 liter of water. So stronger or high concentration is also needed for younger shoots, but oftentimes chemical induction is not practical. On the other hand, formulated products can be made strong or weak depending on the amount of water to the inducer. So you can also add follow-up spray or dressing done during cold months or off-season production and when rain occurs 6 hours after induction. And you spray lower concentration, 50% or 1/2 of the rate, 2 to 3 days after the first application. So coal tar, we use coal tar as actually it's known as paclobutrazole, a growth retardant which can induce flowering in mango. So this chemical is applied as soil drench However, the response of Carabao mango to application of coal tar is not so significant, no? So we still use potassium nitrate. In flower management, technically, mango flowers are referred to as inflorescence because it is made up of several individual flowers or floret. And the entire flowers are also referred as panicle. And in Carabao mango, single panicle may have 800 to 2,000 florets. So mango flowers are light yellow color and turn dark yellow to light orange towards the blooming stage. So there are two types of mango flower, the male, which are relatively small but numerous in number, and the hermaphrodites or complete flower. The latter are bigger and have both male-female parts present in a single flower. And only hermaphrodite flowers will develop into fruit, of course, and the males fall to the ground. Since the number ng males are higher than of the hermaphrodite, like 3:1, only few fruits will develop per panicle. Without care and maintenance, these fruitlets will continue to drop until only 1 to 2 fruits will be retained per panicle. In most cases, nothing is left at harvest, no? Depending on the nutritional and weather condition, especially during rainy season. So, full year application of liquid fertilizer at 14 and 22 days after flower induction is very important, no? To follow, since full year application will enhance mango flowers from the series of developmental stage to development of the fruit. So, such stages are post-emergence, pre-anthesis, and full bloom. Likewise, fruit development will commence from fruit set to fruit enlargement and finally onto the fruit maturation. For pest control, important insect diseases is an important consideration during flowering. And since mango flowers are susceptible to attack of mango leaf hoppers, tip borers, and flowers should therefore be sprayed with effective insecticides against these pests. So during rainy season or days, flowers turn black and fall onto the ground due to anthracnose also. So this is also a very common disease of mango, which is prevalent when moisture is present. So failure of flowers to develop into fruits is therefore influenced by the presence or absence of insects and diseases. So it is also encouraged for pollinators like flies and bees by avoiding application of pesticides at full bloom stage. Fruit setting increases as presence of natural pollinators, hence many of the insects will be killed during insecticide application at full bloom stage. Irrigation is also advised for weekly application of water to enhance flowers and fruits development. Water is supplied naturally through rain or artificially. Sources of irrigation may be obtained from drip irrigation system or overhead sprinkler or surface runoff for irrigation. And to manage the fruit, the presence of numerous flowers is not a guarantee for a bountiful harvest. It has to go through to a lot of phases and also climatic conditions. So slow fruit setting can occur anytime since there is predominance of male flowers, and in addition, large number of perfect flowers or hermaphrodites are not pollinated by insects. So generally, less than 1% of the hermaphrodite flowers will develop into fruits at maturity. Therefore, fruit drop which occur from setting to 60 days after induction is very common, responsible for the low yield at harvest. Fruit drop in mango is associated with also nutrient competition, lack of water during development, and insect and diseases, degeneration or abortion of newly fertilized fruits, or parthenocarpy, fruits not fertilized, and phytotoxic effects ng pesticide. So fruit drop should be viewed as a mechanism for survival of the trees. Fruit development is an energy requiring process, and the presence of numerous fruits in the panicle would mean large amount of food required for the development. Hence, the tree rejects many of these fruits and retains only those which it can support. So, to minimize the occurrence ng fruit drop, at an early stage of development, the following are recommended, like foliar application ng fertilizer during fruit set at 30 to 45 and before fruit bagging at 50 to 55 Daffy. And also pest control against major insect and diseases. Irrigation of trees at weekly intervals starting from panicle initiation until 1 month before harvest. So fruit drop will be stabilized at 60 days after in-flower induction. However, fruits continue to fall beyond this period due to other problems like water, insect disease, and strong winds to have to be considered. So that's all for the 3 care or management. For the next session, we're going to have integrated pest management, IPM strategies and tactics, and all the pests and diseases of mango. No, and after that, we're going to have the post-harvest handling in mango. So thank you for this session, and see you again on the next session.